Welcome to Pulling the Plug, an online intervention that was started by Bluffhill SDA Church through Bluffhill Media House in order to stop the drug menace that has ravaged the Zimbabwean youth in this country. I'm your host, Tatenda Kambeu, and I'm joined by Tonderai Maposa and Titi Mashinya, my co-hosts. Now, for today's episode, we are particularly excited about this one, and the reason being that we have a representative of the population that has been destroyed by drugs in this country. Now, the people here today are here to share their perspectives, their insight, what solutions we can bring in order for us to stop the drug menace in Zimbabwe. Toto, please kick us off.
Thank you very much, Tatenda. So to put us into perspective, I myself was a victim of the drug menace. For 15 years, I was trapped in the clutches of addiction to alcohol, cigarettes, mbanje, codeine, diazepam tablets, crystal meth, to mention the least. What I did was I broke a lot of family relationships. I lost my college degree because of this addiction. So we are hoping that the insights that we have, as Tatenda has mentioned, are going to give us a fighting edge over this drug menace. Thank you very much. Let's get right into it. Tsitsi, over to you.
And just to break the ice, I'm going to ask the ladies here, which drugs do you know?
I know of coke, there's heroin, there's meth, and there's this medication. It's a coffee syrup. It's brown in color. It's just a small coffee syrup, a container that people, they do smoke. I think they inhale so that they feel high. And there's people, they use nappies, these baby pampers nappies, that layer which is inside, they extract it and then they turn it into something that they can smoke so that they get high.
Well, cocaine, I know, banje, and there's also this, food, Ceravita. If you mix it with Mazoe Crush, it produces a drug. That's what I know.
Okay, Ceravita and
Mazoe Crush.
At Mazoe.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Both women and men are affected by this. So it's very interesting. And thank you so much, ladies, for joining us today. Now, you've talked about some of the drugs that you know. Okay, so Mimi, you have shared my drugs, but now you want to know, Mimi Wacho, do you have any experience, with drug abuse in this country? We've talked, in this country, Zimbabwean youths are drugs and but it could be through family, it could be through friends. I don't know if it's a personal experience as well, but do you have any experience that you have had with drugs so far, Simba?
I've had so many challenges personally from home side ma setup sekumba, where you find you have relatives complaining about issues right? The children are now becoming more violent to even their parents, peers, even like Mr. T was saying when I was giving his introduction, he dropped out of school. We know some incidents among my schools ghetto. Drugs. So truly, yes. And it's affecting us also as a nation, because Zimbabwe, my percentage is youth, the young people, constitute of more than 60% of the people, total population of Zimbabwe is the young people. And we are now being affected from that area. So we are looking as a nation, where are we going? If we are being affected, it's a disease that has come into our nation and is affecting us, is killing us. We are now bearing ourselves, so who's going to work in our industry? So we have a lot to discuss, just to mention a few. So yeah, we are being affected truly.
Wow. Thank you very much for that, Simba. This particular question, which I want to ask to a very special guest we came with here today. And I'm going to direct this question to Ruben, who is among one of our guests today, to give us some insights about how these drugs are peddled and sold. Could you please enlighten us on how they're peddled and sold?
All right, thank you, Tonderai. Depending on which drugs you're talking about, do you have any particular?
All of them.
All right, mostly synthetic drugs, they normally come in small packages, and they're easy to hide. they're easy to smoke. And I told him when you smoke them, right, or when you take them, they don't take time. So most of the time you don't get to realize that somebody ate something or they're taking drugs. Because it's not something that is so huge in quantity where you can actually see that there's a drug, especially synthetic drugs. Yeah. And then there's also other drugs like marijuana, where you have to smoke and then you can tell that someone is doing something through smell and stuff. But most of the drugs, they do not smell, and they're easy to hide. Yeah. So normally I was only go to my drugs, open them. Yeah. It's just like this setup at Tiri. I can easily just rush into the toilet, have a quick eat, and then I come back. So you wouldn't know that somebody is taking drugs or they have something on them. It's really hard to tell that with animal drugs. Yeah.
Okay, that was very informative. But now the question is, why are youths doing drugs? Why? Anyone?
They are doing drugs, one, to look cool. And then they are also doing drugs so that they fend for themselves. They are looking for money. So they think that it's an easy way to look for money.
Okay. Yes, Flame?
I think this goes back to how we grow up. We are looking into becoming. So I'll explain this in Shona and I'll mix in English. So drugs, it's not actually a choice. But sometimes it's peer pressure. Sometimes it's an escape plan. Sometimes it's the only way. So I'll give an example of a personal experience. So I was raped when I was like 7, and then I was raped again when I was 8, and then I was raped again when I was 9, and then I was raped again when I was 10. And there was nobody I could tell. There was no one I could talk to. I grew up with my grandmother and my uncle. My uncle was my best friend. He was the only person I knew, and he knew everything about me. So for somebody that goes through such an experience where you get raped and you have nobody to tell, you have nobody to talk to, you're so bright in school, you have everything is just good, but then pane kamwe kamskanzwa kawinako kekuti mumuri zvongonzi uyu mwana hana kukwana usho. This is you are so young, hauna chauntoziva about life kuti kana kukwana kwacho kuita sei. Everything you're doing and every direction yauri kumove nayo, you think you're perfect. Uri kungoendawo kuchikoro, uri kusvika chikafu chakabikwa kumba, but uri kunzwa nzi panapa tunoita food for work. Food for work ndiye kuti okay, sukai mandiro itai zvinhu, but iwe semwana you just feel like zviko zvavari kundiitisa panapa. And then you get to a level yaunoenda kuhigh school. Rape is not the only thing you've bumped into. You've bumped into so many things that you can't even talk about. They're so dark. Wosvikawo kuchikoro wosangana neboys maform 4 vari kubhema mbanje. What are you going to do? Wakura na mbuya, hauna mai, hauna baba vari kukudza kuti aiwa mwanangu, semwanasikana kana uchikura tinoitawo zvakati nezvakati, unozvibata, unozvichengetedzawo. So hauna ari kutombokudza kuti drugs, they are not good. Hauna ari kukudza kuti when you go into drugs pane ma-effects akati neakati. So ndikasanganawo nevakomana vari kubhema mbanje, it's something new they are teaching me. And I can't say no because I don't know why I should say no. So ndakunopindawo mune vakomana muya chimborova puruka. And then to make it worse, tiri vana tiri kukura, we are creatives. Tine zvatinogona zvipo zvedu zvatinonzwisisawo. And then wobva wodzowa vakomana boys haindorova mangoma. Ndo zviriko kuchikoro kunoitwa ma-talent shows. Boys inindorova mangoma zvonzi wangu. Kana uda kunyatsotsika ngoma ka chimborova 1 puru wonoti zvofamba sei. And then the other person is coming from the other direction ari kuti, dude, have you ever tried writing math on weed? Ma-ideas ari kuya tiri kuchikoro handisati ndatombozvisa mupfungwa dzangu inini kuti no, I should try out weed, ndofanira kudai kuti ndidai. And then ndobva ndachirova futi chamba chiya ndonosvika pastage. Man, I have a show of a lifetime. Ndini ndobva ndatowina pachikoro pacho. Vanhu vese vototi chi? Ndakapenga. So patinozoti manje say no to drugs kana kuti stop drugs, indambonakidza vanhu pastage ndakadhakwa. What you are telling me now is nonsense. Why? Because kumba kwacho kwandiri kutotangira hakuna ari kundiudza kuti mwanangu kune chakati chinoitwa nevanhu vakati chakadai chakadai. If you get yourself into this, it's a bad thing and it's going to ruin you. And again chimwe chinhu tinotokwanisa kutopinda muma-activities anoitwa nevana vari normal takadhakwa. I'll give an example. I was in the junior council when I was in high school. ndaitogona chikoro ndichitochinzwisisa, but futi ndaitoendawo kuseri kwechikoro nevakomana vembanje ndotonorochi mbanje. It was not by choice, but inyanga itori nyaya yekutoti ndiri kutoshayiwa ari kundipa guidance, ari kundiudza kuti no mwanasikana ichi chakashata. I can't expect gogo kuti vaende kunorima nyevhe nekunonditsvagira nyevhe mumunda kuti ndidye ndirarame, ndozovaexpecta futi kuti vazouya chindiudza kuti mwanasikana mbanje, kwete. No, gogo is doing too much already. So I think it's not an issue yekuti it's a choice. Zvinouya nepeer pressure, zvinouya nekudzidziswa usina kuzviexpecta, and again kutoshayawo kuziva chaiko, kuudzwa kunzi this is not the way to go.
Wow, that was really, really powerful. So we're just going to take a 2-minute break before we come back to the show again.
Greetings, beloved of my Father. Welcome to GAP, God Answers Prayer, a place in the house where we access the power of prayer. I don't know how you are feeling today. If you did not send in your prayer request on our WhatsApp number, +263 778 132 473, you can still phone in on that number and give us your prayer requests. God is there to hear you. God is there to answer you.
Hello there, my name is Fazai Zimi, your host on the Music Lounge. Now you may be wondering, what is the Music Lounge? This is a program brought to you by Bluffhill SDA Church, where we bring musicians from all around Zimbabwe, even those who are out of Zimbabwe, to come and sing their favorite songs as they share with us their journey through music. Now this is a program that is brought to you each and every single Friday at 7 p.m. We have an episode that will be dropping. Why can't you be part of it? If you are interested, please do come. If you want to be a part of this program, please get in touch with the number on your screen each and every single Friday. You don't want to miss this one.
Hi, I'm from Ashton Park. So I just wanted to add on what she was saying. Cutting my drug sometimes is not a choice. My situations are umunu. You take go through that. So I was in Hopley. This at the time I was shooting a short film. My drugs. So shooter. This mother comes to me, I think maybe around mid-40s day. Sorry, nangonzwa kuti mukuita zvema-drugs. Ndinewo situation yangukumba. But okay mama, I'll just come and talk to you because tantori during shoot shayo. So I had to go na mama after that. I say tapedza shoot. But mama manga muchitichi. And no, I have a situation in Kumba. I have a 16-year-old daughter who's on drugs. She's not easy to control. After she's engaging into sexual activities and stuff like that. So so now she thought maybe in an organization in my drugs. But in an independent producer, no, I want to do a film about drugs. So now I need knowledge. That intelligence ekuti cancel someone and but this lady, she is good with my drugs, awareness and everything. I'm forced to go. So now I was forced to go to see this young lady. Maybe I was gonna take maybe because this lady was crying. So it's like I'm seeing my mother, I'm seeing my mother crying, I need help. We go to the house. This young lady is not dressed properly, and then garapo mbotaurochi now vow with my drugs. My drugs, but I'm just Shunzi, what would you say or my drugs? Naneta and she start crying, the mom, and then the little girl says, "Me blondrare say, Babangwaru kopi." Okay. Atoma topics akatowanda kava atotaurwa uzvinovhundutsa mama yavo varamba vachingochema. So you find kuti kune mamwe situations and tinosangana nawo mufamily anoitwawo nemaparents. I don't know kuti kusaziye kana kuti chii, but they affect the kids zvekudaro. This girl anga achitotaura she's engaging into sexual activity. She was pregnant and she's 16. and haasi kutomboziva kuti baba vemwana ndiani. This is in a neighborhood yakatowanda vana and they take drugs from that corner to that corner. Kanzvimbo kadiki so, but nobody's just lifting their heads kuti saka toita say about this. So now I'm not sure because I'm not really educated on the issue yekuti vanhu vanofanira vachifambira nenyaya dzemadrugs vari kuzviita here. Are they going in all corners ese to educate these young girls? I'm sorry, angoda kuti angenda kuti ndakukoshesa vana vasikana than vakomana, but us women or girls, we get affected more because apa izvezvi munhu atone mimba, unwanted pregnancy, ichauya ndimai ndiye achada to make sure kuti mwana iye ata taken care of. So it's sad. It's really sad.
Yeah, in ndonzi water ndobva kuMbare. Imwe situation yandakaona kwandobva uko kumaraini kwedu uko ndeyekuti munhu anotora madrugs just only kuti aexpose a situation like sezvachitaurwa nasisi vangu ava kuti ava ndiamai pane zviri kuitika pamba zvakawanda zvaasiri kufarira iye zviri kuitika pamba. Saka chaanoita chii, anonotora madrugs kuti awane confidence yekuti awane kuita sei kuexpose amai kuti amai imimi chakadai kana kuti baba imimi chakadai. And then chinozonetsa wese chinozonetsa ndechekuti atora madrugs achona haazongotauri chete kuti mama imimi muri kuita zvakadai maunza zvakadai panapa handisi kuzvifarira zvakadai. Anoendera mberi nekuita in action, maybe to be violent, kuti kutopwanya. I remember ndandine shamwari yangu ainzi akapwanya imba mawindow nedisplay. You know the reason yaida kuita chekutanga aida kuexpose amai vake kuti amai imimi muri kuunza varume vakasiyana handizvifarire, but haana kuzongotaura, haana kuzongoita izvozvo chete, akazoendera mberi nekuita se nekupwanya mawiri because naamai futi muno vana amai vanotichi inini iwe haundiudzire haundiitire izvozvo haundiudzire. Saka iye akabva atsamwa wese akutopwanya mawindo akutopwanya madisplay, a damage yatoitika already, you see. Saka ipapo ndipo pane ndichiti why hakuna here zvimwe zvinhu zvatingaite here kuti tiwane a confidence pane kuti titore madrugs is a solution here kutora yekuti tite a confidence kuti kana ndanoita a confidence ndinonotora madrugs kuti ndiwane a confidence yekuita something. Saka a question yangu ndeyekuti also hakuna here zvatinoita here kuti tidzidziswe kuti, because haasi munhu wese akadzidziswa kuti anoita confidence pamberi pevanhu. Maybe une something chauda kuita but a confidence hauita se hauna, but uri kuchida kuchiita chinhu ichocho. Saka I think vanhu vanofanira kudzidziswa also kuti aiwa no, kana wada kuita zvakadai ngatite zvakadai kuti for you kuti uve neconfidence. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Walter. I'll talk from a point of, my name is Simba Tapfuma, and Chataura from a point of the other side of Samora. I had my sister Mataura of the other side, and he's talking about Mbare, which is the ghetto in the other side. There is another area, affect Wanema drugs, which is the other side. And I stay in Maubra. And my question, is, but my drugs are kudaranga angoriko, kudara they were there, these drugs. But why is it anga sina much impact and get very public as to now? And I was thinking to myself to say, is it not the culture yatakurarama into these days, the family setups tatakukura tiri, the issues to do with, for example, I'll say it plainly, nyaya dzema rights, kodzero dzinonzi mwana wangu ane kodzero dzechakati nechakati. Uku kusaidi uku mwana anenge ane rumu yake, mwana akabva kuchikoro anongopinda murumu make, baba vanenge vari kubasa, amaiwo vanenge vari kubasa, mwana musikana ari pamba musikana webasa, mwana akasvika anongosvika opiwa chikafu chake opinda murumu make ozvifarira imomo, mwana anozobuda manheru. So the parents, they don't have that relationship with their child to an extent where they don't even know kuti attitude yemwana wangu nasa akachinja based on what, why is it nasa ari kubehave like this to this. Isusu tine muma programs ataimboitawo waisangana nevamwe vana vanenge vachitaura kuti I almost committed suicide because I was taking drugs and zvanga zvakundiremera, but I could not speak these issues with my parents because of the nature of the lifestyle yekuraramwa nevabereki nevana. And mwana anenge achiti it's my room, ndavhara door, amai vantu vachinoka kuti please can you come out, I want to talk to you, right? Kuchikoro kuri kudzidza vana mazuva ano, isu tairohwa chikoro isusu, ameno imimi kana mamusingarohwa, but isusu chikoro tairohwa to an extent where vabereki vaitopa the go ahead kuti mwana ngaarohwe kuchikoro, you find out. So nowadays vana kuchikoro vacharohwa semtemo. So some of these issues, the social stratification of our lifestyle nowadays is now being controlled, and in a way it's now promoting some of these issues kuti zvinyaso sprouta zvisakcide and zvirambe zviriko. Why? Because the way we are living, it's supporting the standard yemadrugs. So it's my question now to answer kuti kudhara kana zvanga zvisinganyasobude pachena, because kudhara I didn't know kuti cocaine yaitengeswa kuma-avenues or in other place kumusoro, it's there, right? But kuchikure susu zvanga zviriko, but it wasn't that. Nowadays you actually know kuti uyu ningi ndi drug lord, apo ndo panoningirikinwa, apo ndo panoningirikinwa, and no one is doing anything about it. Why? People nowadays, because of how our social values have gone down because of these issues that are promoted from the Western side. I'm sorry to say this in this manner, but some of the things that we are now adopting, the Western culture and everything, is also bringing some of the Western problems, which is the issues to do with drugs, is number one of them. So our culture and the promoter nowadays is also promoting these issues of drugs. And to my sister, what you were saying is very true, right? I will support the issues of the girl child. Could yes, anaskana variku sangani matambudziko akawanda. We have my places ariko. There's a place in Epworth, kunonzi ku Towerlight or ku Booster. If you know that place, Vaskana Variko, you find out girls from the young age of 13 years, they are indulging in sexual activities as sex workers. You see, and there's actually an organization here, Koko Futiku Epworth. It's a primary, so to speak. Toravana, vima sex workers. For free, right? Why? Because these young people, they are just busy reproducing and making babies and going back. Maskata vanenge vakarara manero vari kuenda kubasa. Vapfana vechidiki, the young boys, they are going there kunokecha. And zvinhu zvinofambidzana, prostitution and drugs, they work hand in hand. So where you find where there's prostitution, high chances are there that there's what? Drugs. So the takers of drugs, most of them, girls, yes, they are part of it, but most of them you'll find out is the boy child. And because my drugs are they will end up going to these places now and they are having sexual activities with the young women. And now they are having unprotected sex and they don't know who is the father and what you're saying and everything. So it's a double-edged sword. It's not really good to who in their affect more, who is less, because the same thing. So we have a lot to talk about here. I don't know the time but there is a lot of things that we need to touch, from a family setup, even ku mabasa kwatengetire kuzvikoro and everything, so that we can really learn and help each other and maybe a way. So what are we going to do about this after this? Thank you.
Yeah, and from what the discussions that we're having, I think you're all raising very important, questions and concerns, and that's the reason why we are here today. Say, where are the gaps? What should we do in order for us to stop this, to put an end to this? You've brought up the issue of family, schools. So each and every person has a role to play. Saka, the next question is isusu, what do we think totangira maybe kushkoro kwa wataura, because chero vana vadiki, they are also involved in this now. Saka, what can schools do in order for us to put an end to this? What are our thoughts on that?
Before I address your question, so I thank God because I'm privileged to be a part of this generation that is being affected by drugs. I'll explain why. There are so many gaps in our community and in our, especially this time that we are living in. There are so many gaps, and I really want to appreciate this movement because it's the role of the church to restore the order. You see, what we are saying about the families, it all comes back to the church. That's my view. There are so many gaps in our environments, and we, as the young people, we are living today, we have to take action on it. So, regarding family mchana, madrugs, kupinda kwao, kana kugadzirwa kwao, is not a young mind, but ifungwa za wanu wakuru. So, the elderly, they are responsible for this disaster. Be it from home, be it in offices. People, they are taking their duties not seriously. Because my drugs manwacho tikamatarisa hasi in Zimbabwe. They are imported drugs. And they are coming through. Through where? We are now trying to fight the locals, yet it's not even, that's not even the problem. The bigger problem we do have, my drugs agara ari muvano. Dizo. And the vanu vacho, varu famba nesu tichita tutore. Say no to drugs. We are saying no to drugs, yet they are selling them. So for me, yeah, it's a... I get so tight. Because ndinotendera munzvimbo dzakawanda, I've been in different environments, different countries, just seeing things, you know. Yeah, at times I feel like crying. Because I'm really touched by the effect of the drugs, honestly speaking. I was in Mfakosi one of the days. My drugs antengeswa ngemazepnex. You know, pagedre primary school. Mwana ku ECD anoziva kuti mbanje chi. Andokuudza kuti unogadzira hair food nembanje. Mwana ku ECD. That's, I'm talking about 5-6 years. They know that. And who is telling them that? It is us. So who are we fighting? We are fighting us. So now coming to your question, right? I think advocating for drugs or against drugs, to me, is the same thing. What we need to do, in my opinion, I'm sure if I got your question right. Can you come again?
What do you think schools, the role that schools or the education sector can play in putting an end to this?
So here in Zimbabwe, our education sector, it's a bit big. We have primary, we have tertiary, and right. So starting from the primary level, we need to implement like the old rules. Chinorovesa. My rights. I now go against rights. No, in a good way, because these rights are the ones that are killing us. You know, these things, they affect, you know, hey, because I'm exposed to so many things. You see, these drugs, how to roll a cigarette, how to roll mbanje, per leaf, this as a rote. It's not an inspiration from the Holy Spirit. How rote is mbanje. You are taught either by someone or through internet. And easy internet irikumba mwana phone, we are going e-learning, we are going digital. It's good. But the sites are not filtered. Everything else out there is not monitored. So education sector here, I think from the primary level, vana ngavarowe. That's what I think. Because ndakakura njiro ende kurowa ndakaitwa kwakandichengeta. Because machikiro anoita kurowa nanhasika ndikatona pazvinoitwa ndotambira kure. So I think vana, they need to be managed. maybe not kurova as such, but they need to be managed. Vana from primary school. Going to secondary school, these awareness campaigns should be done in a way that is educative. Maybe if we put more of the dangers of drugs and not share much of the application or the uses, maybe how people take drugs, you see, because pambacho patru to advocate for my drugs takutova dzidzisa kuti dzinotorwa sei, you see. I've been seeing how people use some of these drugs, you know. I didn't know kuti kutomona pabepa it's actually the least that you can do. Nembanje, there is something that is called ganja oil, where you just need a drop and you'll be high for 3 days, you know. And I can use your blood to get high. Those things, they are crazy, but people are doing it. And I got to know of this through sessions like this. We're just sitting and we're sharing. Ndakatozonzwa mwacho anandori naye kuti zvazoshanda mudara ndakazongono. It's more of hotspot. I get a sample of your blood after you take it, and it works. So, like, secondary, it can be managed. We just need to have, if we can have a way of having access to filter and to manage sites. And if parents could cooperate and help to fight these things. Because, hey, I want to say something, but before I say it, I'm seeing it. You know? True kuti vananga vapuwe free data kuti vagoogle sinze kuchikoro ari papo ndo pakutanga kutotsvaka kuti syringe inoshandiswa sei. And the parents are supporting it. Hey.
Saying kuti ko high school kunogona kuti none, because anogona kunzi musatore mari high school ndeye kune moto baba, because ko high school vari kutobva nayo kumba chinotengesa ikoko kuchikoro. So ko high school kwakatooma, because I think vanhu vari kutangira kutotora madrugs at 16 or 14 15 16 years. Ende kumba wabva madrugs mudara namhombs ndo kuri kubva bag, ndo kuri kubva keshe kutobhadhara futi school fees yacho kuti mwana aita se aenda kuchikoro. Saka zvotonzi iwo chiplaya rako roro kuti unotoona sei unotengesa, because toziva kuti boys kana rabva kuchikoro ndo madrip kana va mumastreets. So vanenge vachitoda that kutomboita hai vapedza kunyora chizama chavo chescience whatever, vobva vazorwawo madrugs vakubuda vakuenda. Like what Flame said, kuti kune matalent shows and you need to be high to be hot, you know. Kuti ndiori pahot pachikoro, maybe you're gonna be recognized because these guys film it kakuti panzi, then it's on YouTube. Wakutopisa baba. So age kwa high school and I don't know what the education system can do about it.
Inoita against pane zvavataura zvekuti vabereki hapana kana zvavari kuita, they are what I mean what useless pane zvavataura. Indinoti pane nyaya yeroo yevabereki inini ndinoti I'm against it. Because why? Panyaya dzemayouth, because iwewe ukaona munhu ari kunzi ari kupenga, nditi ari kupenga nemadrugs, ari kupenga, and then ari kupenga, why uramba uchitora those drugs? Uona kuti chinhu the same thing chauruda kutora ichocho ndo chakapengesa munhu wauri kuona iyeye ari kunzi akaenda kupsychiatric. Why uchizoramba uchizotora chinhu ichocho iwe uri kuona munhu ari kupenga the same thing chauri kutora? Ameno unopamwe unogona kundipindura ipapo kana kuti amen, I don't know.
I'll take that question. Zvogona kupengesa nhingi but majinzi edu akasiyana, ndogona kutadza kutopenga. Zvinoitika ndechekuti togona kutamba blame game tichitsvaga kuti ane nyaya yekuti vanhu vari kutorere madrugs kana kuti ari kutengesa. Drug dealer ari kutsvaga mari, ende mariwo yekutengesawo zvinhu zviri illegal inonaka yakawanda, and then consumer ane zvaari kutorerawo. I'll give an example. Unogona kutora madrugs because you want to go on stage. Believe me, performance yaunopa ipapo no one will know. Iwe ndiwe wega unonga uchizviziva. And then unogona kutora madrugs because I'll give an example. There's different of them. There's mushrooms. Mushrooms antonzi they are for meditation. Antokurudzirwa because antonzi they are natural. But wakadhakwa mushroom. I had an experience of a friend akapinda inonzi astral projection. Astral projection unengwa mlevel rekuti wakunorara unotosiya body yako yakarara pasi apa, wotobuda mubody iwewe weiona kuti uyu ndinu, wodzokera maybe kana kupast chaiyo yekuti zvakaitika kupast ikokoko unotonoona uya uchibvunza imwe information kuvabereki wokudzwa zvakaitika izvi wazviziya sei. Mumadrugs mune kuprofita kumwe kurimo, kuona kurimo, mune inonzi tsomu yekuti unoona unge vanhu vari kukuteera kunge zvinhu zviri kuitika zviri weird. Kune munhu asingatori madrugs you don't understand, but kune munhu akadhakwa anozvinzwisa kuti pana vanhu vandiri kuona panapa zvinhu zviri kuitika, ava vanhu vari kunditaura, because zvaakushanda nespiritual realm. Kuti zvishande nespiritual realm zvakuenderanawo nekuti iwewe pauri chii chiri kumboitika mauri internally usati wazvitora. Zvinoitika mumadrugs, intention yaunoitora uinayo rinoshanda for that. Iwe ukaritora uchiti ndida kunomhanya mutrack umo, ndine competition yekunomhanya muti wemadrug test, ukatopinda unotodambura munhu wese. Why? Pane inonzi dopamine inokwira kana watora madrug. Zvazvinoita, I'll try and say this in a decent way. There is a feeling munhu yekuti, I don't know how best to put it, but there is a feeling yaunoita munhu yekuti when you get something chaunofarira, okay, pane kakufara kamwe happiness kamwe hyper kanoitika mauri, inonzi dopamine ikakwira mumiri umu, excitement kana chinhu chauri kuita chaicho ka confidence une yakakwana. Not only confidence, zvauri kutoisa mind yako kuti ndo zvandoda kuita, it happens. So kuti ukwanise kunodza munhu ane dopamine level iri high kuti dude madrugs akashata that's not an idea. Kana kuti no to drugs. Personally, in my opinion, I think a statement kekuti no to drugs kari useless. Why? Because what you have to look at is why munhu akambotanga madrugs. Do you know kuti zvinhu zvacho hazvisi zvinhu zvinonakidza kana kuti unzi uri kuchiputa achinake chinhu chacho. Hachisi chinhu chinonaka chokuti you can just wake up and say no, I want to start doing drugs. Vazhinji vakadzidziswa because vakaona mumwe munhu achiita chinhu chinonakidza and they also wanted to be like that. So pandaona munhu achiita chinhu chari pamadrugs, obva uyabvandudza kuti dude uri kuona isusu tarara takamuka nhasi tichiridza gitare because pane kasini kaita se kacharova for inspiration. Kwadi umbota se kwadi umbotry ndokarova for inspiration, ndotonzwa kuti damn motoni chimwe chipo chiri mandiri chandisingazive. Dude, this is the way to go. Zviri kuitika ndezvekuti a solution we can find to these drugs yangu inini yandiri kufungidzira ndeyekuti tikambogara pasi tombonyatsotsvaga kuti maissues ari kuafecta vana vechidiki ndeapi, kutangira kumafamilies, kumamothers. Kune anonzi, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, there is an artist anoimba Juice WRLD akatofone madrugs, and ukateerera music yake chaiyo ukadzigadzika nayo drug rinoita kunge the right thing to do. We are emotionally clouded. Tikukura mumasituation tikuona zvinhu zvisinei nesu, zvisiri zvezera redu. Pane zvinhu zvatiri kusangana nazvo zvisina wekuti ndinoudza. Like for me, I was only able to talk about rape last year. And even when I spoke about it, vakangonditi no, iwe ndiwongwa ine musikanzwa, tozviziya sei kuti zvakaitika in that manner. So kana ndisina wekuudza ma-issues andiri kuenda through, zvakafanana ndikuenda kuchikoro inini. Pane kana teacher ari kunakirwa neni, ari kundibata. Kana pasina wandiri kukwanisa kuudza or anyone wandiri kukwanisa kutite something nesituation yandiri kuenda through, what do you think I'm going to do? Drugs are the only escape plan.
That was very powerful. So the thing is, we might talk about education, the education system, we might talk about the legal system, but what I'm getting is it's all boiling down or going down to the family system. And when we're saying family system, we have different families, auntie. Tukuti pane ya maina baba. But at the same time, they're child-headed families. At the same time, pana kuchenget kwa nema relatives. Nana gogo, nana mbwe. Pesa pa murkutara, maybe ndini toto. But pesa parkutaurika zunenge surkudzokera kuti kwatiri kubva sevanu. Are we together? Saka tsatongo taura about education system. Kati taure magari kamgariro katru kuita sevanu. And I am proud of our culture sevanu atema because taitsiurwa. And muna uchitotsiurika. Are we together? Vabereki awa vanmakuru. Maybe let's say this is also a cry for help ku vanmakuru varikuona. As youth trukoti, you are the custodians. Yeah, digati chiko, yeah culture. You're the custodians of the truth. And paneka kugarira basa kari kuitika. Are we together? Because patruku taura trukuti shurikuenda kuna mai vakazoti. Mwana kupesera kudzamai kuti imimi murikuitira zvamurikuita. Baba avapo. Kana kuti baba pane zvavari kuita. Mwana kuti murikuitira zvamurikuita. Baba, parents, guardians have the money. And they are funding certain things. Are we together? Or vanhu vakuru varipo ndovari kutoti aiwa tisi tine madrugs mfanhu wangumbira ndiku ukangonditengesera kandinokupa ka $50. And $50 inonakidza kuwana uri mwana mudiki. Are we together? So it's going down. Mukaterera even my contributions asatiri kuita. Zvoitonge it's going down to the family system. And pa culture yedu kana chitoti family system trukuti ubuntu. We are family. Nyangu takagara takadai tukubva kwakaita sei kwakasiyana siyana. But takagarisana kudai we are family. So the solution then yatiri kukumbira ndeyekuti please vanhu vakuru muri kunzwa it's a cry. Ndimi mune chokwadi, ndimi muri kugara nevamwe vana vari kuenda mumaprimary schools, vari kuenda masecondary schools, ndimi muri kugara nevana munharaunda vari kuenda kumacolleges or whatever. Vana vari kumukira vachiita sex work, vana vari kuri muri kuzviona. It's also your mandate to take part. Of course, it's also tokwanisa kuti masystems kadai, but iwe semunhu mukuru urimo mucommunity, do something about it. And vanhu vakuru tavasiya, iwe semuyouth takagara panapa, you know, because it's emotional. Takagara panapa totality. Vamwe vari kubva vadai. What are we doing? What are we doing? Mama communities edu trikuona zviri kuitika. Trikuitei. So it's also a cry for help to the youths vakatitarisa izvozvo kuti what are we doing muma communities, because tikasadaro apana generation iri kuuya mumashuro. Ndindaga ndozvono. Pane generation iri kuuya.
Excellently put, Tsitsi, very excellently put over there. Ndudangori iterere tawo zvataurwa na Tsitsi na Flame na Ropa na Bright. Hanzi na Bright chinorovesa. We have forgotten that. There was Ubuntu, my child's, your child's, our child. I'm very proud of this panel iripanapa today because I believe this is where we are going to extract the solutions from. I'm also happy to preempt that Flame, you overcame your addictions and you are a source of knowledge for how you got through that, right? Are we doing enough as schools? Bright mentioned, pa school gate, parukutengeswa ma drugs. Is the school doing enough to allow that? Obviously, someone knows. Ropa mentioned, this girl said, that was a really touching one. This girl says, Mama, muda kuti ndoita sei murikugara murikuchinjanisa varume pamba panapa. The parent, as you have rightly said, Tsitsi, is where the whole problem is coming from. What could have Flame done at that time? Is our education system showing us what she could have done at all those times that she was abused when she was younger? What was there for her? If there was nothing for her then, is there anything there for her now? For that child, because I don't believe this is an isolated incident. Youth, Twitter say, what are the solutions to what we went through? And my questions, we are posing them to the youth. What could have been done differently, Flame? What is the solution to that girl? Amai vake varukuchinja. Okay, probably that one is an easier one. Amai regai kunza varume vakasiyana siyana mumba. Right? What should be done in Bright situation? Kuona kuti mbanje dziri kutotengeswa pa school gate, it won't be surprising that belongs to a teacher. I want us to get into what we believe active solutions could be.
Thank you so much. My name is Fortune Tsosa. I'm actually an author. I wrote a book, Healing After a Sudden Loss. I lost my spouse in 2018. And when we say, what are we doing as a nation or as we to stop this use of drugs? I personally want to talk about myself. I wrote a book, and I wrote more specifically on things like drugs and what widows go through. Because there's this area that we don't talk about, especially widows. Widows, we go through a lot. We lose our spouses, and when we lose our spouses, for us to go through that grief, the only solution that we do, we turn into drugs or we become sexual workers. And there's this other thing again that I also wrote about, that I spoke about, that please can we look into our kids, the orphans. Let's look into them, because when I lose a spouse, my kids, they become alone, because I don't have that time, I don't have that energy to look after my kids. Now my kids, they're into drugs. I'm also into drugs. So it's one thing that I wrote about that we should really look into. And if there's anyone or any organization out there that can look especially around widows, they can help us. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Chantel. The major one that I think is a solution to this problem is Christianity, religion. You know, a lot of religion will be saying, my demoni, of which we're going through a lot. So all those people who are giving out information about drugs, and they should start in the religion sector. They should start with the churches and just give them an insight about what is happening, because then they'll tend to just say, my demoni, you have ancestral spirits and stuff. So I think a big solution would come by giving the full information to the Christianity base. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know Jando Funge no Buddha because I mean, but didn't go kind of visual. Can maybe na grammar film mistake na ungo feel that maybe shoko na Buddha bad, right? Aniti mu society ndruku gara ku mbare no tangara mu. There's a place in the Chikwe community center ndijo. Mingine masiso usually the clinic, the what ndrungo fila kuti would usually kutorina maimpofu o maidlamini vanondozika kuti ava mama ava vanombodayi dai vachimbobatawo kuma NGOs kana kuti kuma organizations akadai chichichichi. Tiri kungofila a setup yekuti vanofanira kungoadressa vana, not really about drugs but about every topic. Kana kutoti musi Wednesday vosana tuma kunyora ngotora tenga bond paper onyora nepeni kuti Wednesday pa community center we're going to be discussing about reproductive health. Age yakati people talk about it. Tochendo mamwe ma topics kana maybe riri dere kuti vakomana boys chete poito a fatherly figure anongoitaurawo about zvese izvozvo. We get kuti tinokwanisa kusvika pa drugs ipapo, tinotosvika chete ipapo. So I just feel like that should tangle at home in our society. But tinofamba muroad momo ngatungane panzvimbo 1 because tinotoziyana chete mudi, because as much as we kuti my drugs what ndikutoziya kuti the next door neighbor dzangu dzinototengesa, but I can't, there's nothing I can do, you know. So mu community momo, as much as I know kuti he's doing drugs, pane pachirasangana chete mukati meme community center momo, she discuss and everything. Ngatingotukanyanye without even putting violence. Yeah, that's what I think.
I think chekutanga se community se vabereki se vanhu ngatidzidzewo kuti mwana wangu akati ndakuimba kana kuti ane passion yaada, check in kuti kwaari kuitirawo zvinhu zvake ndekupi, because mumastudio totobvumidzwa kubhema mogo nechamba nechi. So mastudios asiri registered, hatisi kuti vanhu ngavasaite mastudio, but mubereki pota uchendawo kumashuro chinotarisa kuti mwana wako kwaari kushandira chii chaari kuita. Support chaiyo inosimudzira mwana, because kana asina support akutsvaga support yedrug. And then I think the second thing is mbereki kana mwana wako atopinda mazviri wotopfuga mona mate inini hangu ndakatozoita kuenda kugomo cause zvinhu zviya zvandezvoti kana wasvika zvine time yazvinokusvitsai kuti unenge usingachade wega but nyaya yekuti marehab acho futi kunobhadharwa anokuendesa kurehab ne600 kana 800 yekuti akuendese kurehab hapana saka iwe wega ukasatoshinga kunamata kuti utotsvaga kuti kunze kuneika haubudirire and you need a parent anonamata kuchechi it's not a safe place for munhu anodhakwa because unenge uchiti ukatarisa everyone around you can see their flaws because they can see your flaws so zvakuda iwewe mbune ndokunge wakashinga naamai vako vacho vabereki kuti vashinga and let's stop blaming parents because vabereki vari kutochemawo nesu ngatinamatei vanhu zvinhu zviri kutoitika in a spiritual realm hazvisi zvinhu zviri normal zvava zvinhu zvakuda kuti tichitarisa kuti chii chiri kuitika and we pray. I think if we pray and also we find people to talk to, we are carrying so much weight that we don't deserve. Zvimwe zvacho hazvisi zvedu ndezvevabereki ndezvevanhu vakafa kare, so we need people to talk to. If we can find activities ekuti tinombounganidzwawo sema-youth tombotaura, we share nekungo explorewo zvipo zvedu zvatinogona. Art sector ngaisupportwe ndokwanyanya kurasikira vana ikoko.
Sorry, inandasiya imwe futhi sorry. Dadasiya imwe effect yekuti us as Zimbabweans takuita kasikiri kuti kana zvisina bag andikwanise kuita. Kana pasina munatifanda andikwanise kuita anything about it. Man guys, zvimara azvibudi. Ndo imwe nyaya iri kutitsikirira iyoyo. You as a parent inzwawo moyo because uka ignore the next day is going to be in your house.
Yeah, inini ndoti ndazvitangire kufamily chaiko, kufamily ngavadzidziswe how to handle mwana aita zvemadrugs. Alright, aita zvemadrugs already, zvoitwa sei? Ndavadzidziswe, and then so that because chinoitika chimwe chacho ndechekuti mwana wana aita zvemadrugs, you are going to see kuti vamwe vaning'ina vachaterawo also mashure vachiitawo zvemadrugs izvozvo because vari kutoti saka mukoma anenge vari kuita zviri right, nenyaya yekuti vari kushaya support from the family. Saka vabereki ngavadzidziswe how to what to kusimudzira vana, kusapota vana, like sezvaitawa nasisi vangu ava kuti art, like vana vazhinji, kune vanoimba, kune vanoacta. Sapota mwana wako nezvipo zvaanazvo izvozvo, because ukasamusapota achaenda kwaachafila kuti uku ndinosapotwa, and then ikoko kwaanofila kuti ndinosapotwa ikoko ndokwaachaita se achapiwa madrugs kunzi shamwari kuti uende pastage kuti udai so chimborowa puru one. You are going to see kuti at the end of the day ichave disaster. Saka ngazitangire kufamily and then kuChristianity as well, kuchurch. Kuchurch ngavaite se ngavadzidziswe as well, because you are going to see kuti kuchurch vane that thing yekuti munhu aita zvemadrugs vane kuti kakushora kakuti saka munhu ane madhimoni uyu, munhu ane madhimoni uyu, mwana uyu, saka vane kastigima kaya kavanoita kaya. Saka so ndavapiwa information, munhu wese ngapiwa information, family, church, nevanhu vemumaraini as well, everyone, so that tichiita se tichienda mberi. I think this is what I think.
I think we are the people. We are the ones who are responsible. We are the change that we want to see. And the impact that of what we are doing, it comes from us. So I think in schools, there is need for guidance and counseling. It's normally taken as a way of helping children to identify their career paths and stuff, but the counseling sessions, they're not taken seriously. So I think if there's a way of incorporating organizations and people who are professional enough to work and support those sessions in schools, I think it would make a change. Because so many kids, they have no one to talk to. People are going through a lot, and the education sector is just focusing on one side. It's either academics or sports. And about personal growth and whatever that you're going through, we have no one to talk to. So I think in every level, there is need for that. Starting from primary, going up, I think that would be my contribution.
Right, okay. Basically, I think the solution in my drugs is a social support. I think it's got to do with a social support structure. Yevana. Because before someone indulges into drugs, mostly, because secondarily, yeah, you get to the point here, you drugs, but starts within the house, within the home, which involves the parents. It's either there's going to be the mother, the father, and the children. Basically, do manifest structure my drugs, some family, most of the time, family can share communications or support structures. Mwana share support, or if the child is not open up with their parents, and glitch, even 0.1 glitch, somehow any support from their peers. Because before Matunda Madras, the first thing where they can, if they find someone out there, a same family, where they can be as a shoulder to them. That means barrier for you to now tizokava gepiro tazoga mumba mawan achatu zoge kumba wan atubuda mba and most of the times that's when they get to vanantazuma drugs, because vanantazuma drugs vanodanana mukasvika pani panoitwa drugs pane rumwe rudo so rwekutika kana muchecha urioni unoshamisika. Even the way those guys support each other, it's so amazing, it's so beautiful, if I can put it that way. Zvinototyisa so kuti anotosvika pakutovhura imwe information mamwe masecrets yekuti nzara korosi hatauriri zvinhu zvakadaro, asi kana asvika kumadrugs they are open enough kusvika pakutaura information iyoyo. It's because vabereki, like I said, it starts within the house. Before tena madrugs kwese pane communication yatoshana vana vedu sevabereki, and we need that. I think it's one area where we need to look at. Thank you.
My contribution is just in supporting Shangatora, my brothers and my sisters. The major point number one is the religion part. Kuti Africans were religious people, especially Zimbabweans. I thank you, my sister, for giving your testimony in that format. Kuti wakados no gomok no namata. If you don't pray about these issues, indeed, some of you already get upon a patch on the truly. And my brother, Mr. T, Isusu Chikura is my conclusion. Why to go on a motor white and the defender? Pai manua. Regardless of emotion or not emotion. So the law enforcement side of it these days, yazi nyeke nyeke. I saw the Anti-Corruption Commission for the past month. They were chasing Vanwenda Kutengesa Marimu Street. Magambo Chena. Waisha hapo kuchinja those zigs to $. Meaning to say, if they really want to make that change, those people, they can. And that's the biggest elephant in the room, because you cannot have a drug dealer standing at Gate Rech Koro selling my drugs, and because we know each and every community has a police station. And you don't tell me kuti my parents are gonna sukuitika vana usasuli, my teachers, they don't know what is happening, and yet they don't inform the police. Some of the issues nowadays, if you go to the police, it's one and the same thing, because nothing is being done about it. My sister, you were saying kuti unochika kutasela out munepa next door, because you know the repercussion. Kutukenda mapurisa chango piwa kuchoko mwongwe, and then they go dambudziko rasara nareyo ndire muneighbor wako yo wakunzi iwe uri musnitch wakuface ama social issues and everything and stuff and so on. So our police enforcement, for me, that is the biggest elephant in the room. Because those guys, they are able to enforce certain issues. Kuti zvimwe zvinhu zvese zvibozi vabereki mazuvano kuadresa issue yema drugs is now as a remedial, because zvabva kunze uko zvimwe zvikutangira mukati but kuna zvimwe zvekubva kunze we mwana vabereki vari kunamata, they are doing everything for their kid, they are talking, communicating and everything, but my friends are asangana nawo kunze, some of the people may be influenced odzoka nazvo mumba and they don't know how to deal with it. So some of the issues, for me, my major point is prayer and the police enforcement. Kuti ikoko, if they are reinforced, because they showed us they can do it. The issue in green, they can do it. So why not on these issues of my drugs?
What I picked out most about what can help us with this drug menace is the religion aspect of it. where Flame Lily had to go to the mountain and seek inspiration. He said, Nyango amai munofana kubatsira. Let us go to the churches. It's a call to the churches to help us to pull the plug on this drug menace. Tsitsi, what are your thoughts on this issue?
Well, my thoughts and what I got is the family system. As a pillar of the society, everything starts from there. If it's strong, the society is strong. If the family system is weak, the society as a large is weak. So as the family system, families out there, different families, we're saying, please, 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 control the homeostasis of the family system. If you are strong, the society is strong. I don't know, Tatienda.
Thank you so much, everyone. And, if I were to pick something from the contributions that were said today, I think we'd spend the whole day here because everyone has shared something so valuable and so insightful. But you know what? This conversation was had here with these people. But each and every one of us has a part to play. So each and every one of us has a role to play. Whether you're a parent, whether you're a teacher, whether you're law enforcement, whether you're youths, just like us, but we all have a role to play. And so the one remaining thing that's left is for all of us to come together and
Pull the flag.